From posting singing covers in her bedroom to landing a Disney princess role. And then she burnt it all down, one interview at a time. Here's the thing about Hollywood. It will open every single door for you. But the moment you start acting like you own the building, those same doors will be thrown in your face. And nobody in recent memory has proven that faster than Rachel Zegler. This is a story of a girl who had everything. A Spielberg film at 19, a Golden Globe, a Disney lead role, the full package. And somehow, in just a few years, she managed to turn herself into one of the most disliked names in the entire movie industry. So how does that actually happen? Let's get into it. Our story starts in Hackensack, New Jersey, where Rachel Zegler was born in 1901 to a Colombian mother and the Polish father. She was a full-on theater kid from the start, performing in school musicals, getting the lead in every show, doing what theater kids do. She even started a YouTube channel where she'd post covers of popular movie songs, which is standard stuff, normal beginning, nothing special yet. But then in 2018, Steven Spielberg announced he was making a live-action remake of West Side Story and was looking for Latino actors to fill the roles. Rachel auditioned, and here's where the story gets kind of insane. She beat out over 30,000 other people for the part of Maria. 30,000! That's not luck, that's talent. She could genuinely sing, genuinely act, and she walked into her first major Hollywood audition and walked out a movie star. West Side Story came out in 2021. The film itself bombed at the box office. It made around $76 million worldwide against a budget of over $100 million. But Rachel didn't care. She was brilliant in it. Critics called her a revelation. She became the youngest actress ever to win a Golden Globe for Best Actress. She was 20 years old. Hollywood was basically rolling a red carpet directly to her front door and saying, "You're next." Disney came calling almost immediately. In 2021, they announced Rachel Zegler as the lead in their live-action Snow White remake. This was a huge deal, not just any job, Disney princess-level stuff. She was being positioned as the new face of Hollywood, the fresh, diverse, talented young star who would carry the industry for the next decade. People were calling her the next Jennifer Lawrence. Everything was lined up perfectly. And then she opened her mouth.
On her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird. So we didn't do that this time.
The first red flag came at the 94th Academy Awards in 2022. Rachel wasn't on the West Side Story guest list, which honestly makes sense. There are about 200 people in that film. But instead of quietly letting it go, she went on social media and basically bullied the Academy into giving her not just an invite, but an actual presenting gig. Now look, you've got to admire the confidence of a 20-year-old nobody lecturing the most powerful film organization in the world about what she deserves. But it was the first real sign of the entitlement that would follow her everywhere. Around the same time, she landed a supporting role in Shazam 2. Easy job, decent paycheck, low pressure. The kind of thing young actors do while they wait for their big project. Fine, normal. Except during the press tour, someone asked her what drew her to the DC universe, and she looked directly into the camera and said, "I needed a job. I'm being so serious." On camera while promoting the film. There's being refreshingly honest, and then there's spitting on the movie you're being paid to sell. She crossed that line without even blinking. Shazam 2 also flopped, 2 flops in a row. But none of that mattered because Snow White was coming, and that was going to change everything. Except it didn't go that way at all. When the Snow White press cycle started, the interviews got uncomfortable. Rachel made comments about the original 1937 animated film that a lot of people took as dismissive. She talked about Snow White not being saved by a prince, not dreaming about love, but becoming a leader. She allegedly said the original story had a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. She called herself a narcissist in one breath, while seemingly talking down about the character that made Disney famous in another. And she pushed the whole "we made this for modern audiences" angle so hard that people started rolling their eyes. Now, in fairness, it's very likely the studio gave her those talking points, but there is a way to sell a remake without making the original sound like garbage. She didn't find that way. And for a lot of people, this was their very first introduction to Rachel Zegler. It was not a good one. The backlash was enormous, way bigger than anything Brie Larson faced during the whole Captain Marvel era, and that was already pretty bad. Rachel allegedly became the symbol of everything people were tired of in modern Hollywood. Remakes that act embarrassed about the thing they're remaking, celebrities who feel entitled to fame they haven't fully earned, and a culture of "we fixed it for you" that most audiences didn't ask for. Disney panicked. They delayed the Snow White film by over a year. They allegedly put Rachel on a carefully managed apology tour, trying to soften her image with more controlled appearances. And for a brief moment, it seemed to work. The 2023 Hunger Games prequel she appeared in, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, was a minor success and reminded people she could actually act. There was a window there where she could have course-corrected. She did not course-correct. When the first Snow White trailer dropped in August 2024, it got ratioed into oblivion on YouTube, becoming one of the most disliked trailers in recent memory. And instead of staying quiet, Rachel immediately jumped on social media to thank her fans for the response. Then, almost in the same breath, she allegedly dropped a political take on the Israel-Palestine conflict, which, whatever your views are, when you're promoting a Disney family film to children and their parents, that's not the moment. Disney producer Mark Platt allegedly flew across the country to personally ask her to take the post down. She allegedly refused. From that point, there was just no stopping her. She weighed in on immigration, women's rights, the American election. She reportedly called Trump supporters a stain on America. Every time she posted, more people decided they weren't going to spend money on her movie. She even reportedly created tension with her Snow White co-star Andrew Burnap over the Israel-Palestine comments, and their body language at the 2025 Oscars apparently said everything words couldn't. Then came March 2025. Snow White opened in theaters. It bombed hard. One of the worst performances in Disney live-action history. The reviews were savage. The losses reportedly ran into the hundreds of millions of dollars. And the worst part for Rachel wasn't just that the film failed. It was that so many people felt like they had seen it coming from a mile away. She had spent years driving people away from the movie before it even existed. After the dust settled, the picture wasn't pretty. No major film or TV projects on the horizon, a reputation in Hollywood for being a headache on top of a box office liability. She allegedly retreated to theater, booking a West End production of Evita, which reportedly isn't going great either. At 24 years old, it genuinely looks like her film career might already be over. And here's the saddest part of all of this. The talent was real. The voice was real. The Golden Globe was real. Rachel Zegler was genuinely good at her job, but she rose so fast that she skipped all the hard lessons, the humility that comes from years of rejection, the media training that comes from smaller roles, the self-awareness that comes from actually working your way up. She went from bedroom covers to Disney princess almost overnight, and nobody around her apparently had the courage to tell her to just calm down a little. In the end, it was never really about any single interview or any single tweet. It was the pattern, the constant feeling that she thought she was above it all, above the films she was in, above the audiences watching them, above the studio writing her checks. And audiences have a long memory for that. You can dislike a celebrity's politics. You can roll your eyes at a bad interview. But when someone consistently makes you feel like you're an inconvenience to them, eventually you stop showing up for them. Rachel Zegler had one of the fastest rises in modern Hollywood history, and then she had one of the fastest falls. The talent was never the problem. The attitude was. That's it. See you next time. Bye.